It's always been a very experimental sound, so it's not for everyone, you know. It was a long fight. It was a struggle. For anyone who's watching this, who's ever wanted to do something that's wanted to do what you love. So yeah, I think music was definitely like me honoring God's purpose for me. I hope so. It's gonna suck a lot before it gets better, you know what I mean? It's gonna be terrible before it gets better. When you're building anything, man, you don't just build a house in a week, you know what I mean? It's like I can't cross the street without getting mobbed. I haven't, you know what I mean?
Okay,
so that's the plan.
Okay.
That's the plan, yeah.
Hey Sis, and welcome back to another episode of Hey Sis by She Is Sustenance. I am your host, Charmaine Sibusiso, and I am so excited to have you join me because I believe that this is going to be a fan favorite, to be honest. From previous content with this creative, I believe that you guys are going to run this up because we really all love him. But before we go into the podcast, don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. Subscribe if you're listening on any podcast streaming site. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and a review because it helps push the podcast forward. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, to comment, to like, to share the content, and also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at She Is Sustenance. So for our weekly check-in, I'm allowing myself to experience patience because in patience, there's peace. Patience is not an easy thing to experience. It actually is one of the most stretching things that you can do for your faith. It is a challenge. It will demand more than you think that you can offer at that moment. But when you finally get into tune with it, it is the most rewarding thing because in the place of patience, there is peace. And so that's just where my mind is at this week. And hopefully we're all practicing patience because the world needs peace. We need peace. Amen. Amen. Okay, so introducing this week's guest. Today's guest is one of Zimbabwe's most exciting voices in music. Suhn, or Tafaradondo, is an artist, rapper, songwriter, and producer known for his distinctive sound and fearless creativity. He's built a loyal following by staying true to his artistry while pushing Zimbabwean music onto bigger stages across the continent. From collaborating with some of the country's biggest artists to expanding into the rest of the continent, Suhn's music continues to prove that originality has a place in the industry. Today, we're talking about creativity, identity, excellence, and what it means to build a career without compromising your voice. Please help me welcome Suhn. Okay, so before the podcast episode, so please can you be very serious with this podcast? Okay,
I will.
Thank you so much. Before the questions start, I usually like to have a discussion. So AI music is a thing now, right? And you don't only rap, but you also produce as well. And I want to understand from your point of view as a producer and as a musician in totality, do you think artists need to chase the algorithm or do they need to chase excellence? And how do you remain authentic when AI music is competing in the same field as you?
Okay. You want me to answer that now?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I think AI right now, it's still scary because it's a new thing, you know what I mean? Like, as people are always afraid of new things, it's kind of similar to how it was with stuff like Photoshop when it came around, you know, before posters and stuff were made by hand, you know, they were physical posters and, you know, you would draw, you would cut out, like, pictures, all that kind of stuff. So when Photoshop came around, at the time, people kind of had this feeling that, like, it's going to replace people who make posters, people who do cover arts, artwork, and stuff like that. But it didn't really do that. It kind of just made the job easier and kind of allowed creatives to be able to expand what they can do beyond just the physical media. But then rather, when it's digital, there's a lot more leg room. There's a lot more you can explore when it comes to, like, the tools that you can use and, like, the ideas and experiments and things that you can mess around with when you're working in that. So I feel like with AI music, it's kind of similar. Right now, it's scary because people feel like it's going to replace people completely, but then at the end of the day, it still needs someone to input those ideas, to give those ideas, you know what I mean? It can only make something based off of what's already pre-existing, so it kind of sounds similar to something that's already there. As opposed to, like, if it was just making music by itself, you know what I mean? Like, it just wakes up and it just starts making the best music we've ever heard, then that's when it would be a problem. But I feel like for me, I think it's cool it'll be dope if artists actually didn't look at it as a threat, but rather as a tool, as something that can help them, kind of further their craft. And yeah, if you work hand in hand with it, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's actually pretty good. I would advise people to give it a chance, just kind of open up to it, see what they can do with it. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So basically, there's still a creative behind
there's still
AI
100%,
regardless of it.
100%,
Okay.
100%, yeah.
Would you use it to
Would I use it? Yeah, for sure,
enhance your craft?
Yeah, if there's something that I feel like I wanted but I couldn't get, sometimes it's like you want to make a song and you want to have a marching band. You want like trumpets, saxophones, all that. But you can't afford like $10,000 to get a marching band. But with AI, you can just, tell it what you're trying to make or give it a melody and then tell it to like convert that to the instruments that you like. And then, yeah, as soon as you've done that, you've got the sound that you want without having to like break the bank,
So in terms of production,
yeah.
But what about in terms of like AI voices? Because I seen an article about a South African artist who had like 6 million streams or something like that, and then he gets booked for shows and he can't sing. But people love his album and it was great, and people petitioned for it to be taken down. It's not on streaming sites anymore. Doesn't that still affect the genre because of the inauthenticity
of it? Yeah, 100%. Like, I think with him, it's a shame. With him, it would have been like an ideal scenario would have been a case of he's making music with AI, of course, to enhance what he's already got. You know what I mean? If he could sing, he could have gotten away with it because, like, okay, it's AI, but like when he came and he performed it live, he actually did a good job. He actually sounds good. So I guess with that situation, it's a case of, okay, this guy can't really sing like that, but then the songs sound great, so it's like it feels very inauthentic. You know what I mean? So I think it just depends on how you use it. You know what I mean? It's supposed to add on to what you have, not replace you completely. Okay. So people still want to hear that element of you. People still want to hear that people want to know that you're still sitting down and like maybe even if you're not singing great, but you're still singing into a mic, you're still writing down the lyrics. You're still actually putting effort as opposed to like just going on like some AI thing and just typing, write me a love song in this language, and then it just makes the whole song for you. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we're starting the questions now. People know Suhn the artist, but who is Tafara behind the brand?
Who's Tafara behind the brand? I actually haven't been asked that before. That's yeah. I'm just pretty much just like Suhn, man. I think I'm kind of the same as an artist, as a person. I feel like Tafara is a lot more. I'm very reserved as a person. I'm very like I keep to myself. You know what I mean? And I think that's the only. Otherwise, everything else that you see when you see Suhn, that's pretty much me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't sound like anyone else. You have a very unique sound. Was that intentional when you decided to pursue a career in music? Were you intentional to remain sounding like yourself? Or was it because you drew inspiration from different places and kind of created that?
I think your second, the latter. Drawing inspiration from like different places. I think because like the kind of music I listen to, it really affected the kind of music I make. You know what I mean? I listen to a lot of like electronic music, and then a lot of rap music, a lot of jazz and stuff like that. So it then kind of seeped into what I was making without me actually knowing it. I did have the intention though to like want to be as different as I can, to be as unique as I can, especially in Zim. You know what I mean? Given like the kind of music that people make, so I always wanted to have one of those like, okay, this guy, the music isn't Shona, but like. It doesn't sound like anything else we've ever heard, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, very much the influence played a big part in it, but I also try as much as I can to work towards being a very unique and different artist.
Do you think the uniqueness of your sound has been readily received, or is it something that people had to like acclimatize their ear to?
I think climatize would be a better way to describe it. I think it's always been a very experimental sound, so it's not for everyone, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it kind of takes a bit of time. It took a bit of time for people to adjust to it. But yeah, I think now people are kind of starting to understand the kind of music I make, and I think it's even showing with like the reception I get from the music I've been putting out. So yeah, it took a bit of getting used to, but I'm grateful that people actually understand and like they accept it now. So yeah.
So you know that like there's this whole thing Uti Mankitare is not a career
Yeah,
in Zimbabwe.
yeah.
People had to get used to the idea of arts being an actual career. How did you manage at home to be able to receive the blessing from your family and your parents to be like, you know what, okay, you're a rapper, go ahead and rap. That's your job, your career.
It was a long fight. It was a struggle. I feel like for anyone who's watching this, who's ever wanted to do something that's not like being a lawyer or being a doctor or whatever it is, you've probably had these like conversations with your parents where you butt heads about like wanting to do what you love. And at first, for me, at the time, like I always used to feel like they were pushing against me or like they don't want me to do what I want to do. But it was a case of they just your parents, you know what I mean? They want the best for you, so they want you to live a life that's comfortable. You know, they want you to make money or whatever it is. And their worries, like they'll be thinking, okay, cool, you want to make music, but they can't, off the top of their head, they can't think of like a rich musician from Zimbabwe. You can think of rich lawyers, you can think of rich doctors and stuff like that. So it's just a case of they're just worried that like, okay, cool, we know that you love this, but like, is it gonna put food on the table when the time comes? You know what I mean? Is it gonna take the kids to? Is it gonna pay the kids' school fees and stuff like that? So it was just a case of with me, I had to just kind of keep on it and just kind of tell them like, yo, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. It helped that like because I started off as a beatboxer, so it helped that I won a talent competition as a beatboxer. They're like, oh, okay, cool. It wasn't even the rap thing that kind of helped them. That allowed them to support me, but it was rather something else. So when they saw the beatboxing thing, they're like, okay, cool. So I guess if you really do like something, you can make some money off it. Because I won some money when I won that competition. So it was like, yeah, it had to be like proof of concept. That's pretty much like the only thing parents need. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're making music, if you're making clothes, whatever it is, if you can just show them that like, look, it's worked one time, I could probably do it again. You know, that's pretty much all they want to see. So that's kind of what made them then allow them to like be like, okay, cool, I think we can try this for sure. You can do anything.
What's the reception now?
From my parents?
Yeah.
They love it. Like they support my music 100%. My dad, because my dad doesn't live in Zim. But like there's a song that I did with Takura and Gemma. Yeah, that's Cry on My Shoulder. Yeah, so
Susanna must
yeah, so like my parents came to visit, and I remember like we're just talking, and then my dad was on his phone. I think it was on TikTok or something, and then he just kept playing that verse, and it was like a reel that was posted by I think it was Takura or the Learn Charlotte page, but it was my verse that they had posted, but I wasn't in the video. So I remember my dad just kept on playing it. And then my brother's like, Tava's going to that part of the song. And he's like, he just went off. He was so confused, he was so shocked. So that was cool, man. And like, I remember even after we had the conversation, like, everyone went to bed and like, could still just hear him playing it in like full blast.
Oh, I love that.
So that was cool. Really kind of, I appreciated that, show that like, yeah, they really do support it, they really do. Yeah, like, all your parents want the best for you.
That's really
There's no parent that doesn't want the best for their kids. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's really nice to kind of to feel that support from people you love and care about.
I like that. Yeah. So you produce, you write, you perform. Yeah. God gave you a lot of gifts. You beatbox, right?
Yeah.
Which expression of your gift feels like you're honoring the highest form of your calling?
The highest form, I think. I won't lie. I think doing music, man. I was gonna say beatboxing because it always felt like something that, like, it was my calling. But I think beatboxing felt that way because I hadn't started fully making music. And I was just looking for a way to kind of make music. I mean, even though I wasn't like fully on producing or whatever it is. So yeah, I think music was definitely me honoring God's purpose with me.
Okay.
I hope so.
So you've started to branch out. Like, I feel like you already did branch out. You did the competition with Mr. Easy. If I'm not mistaken, it's Diplo.
Yeah.
You've done work as well with. And so you've already had reach. But I feel like now there's more of a consistent outreach with your brand. And so how do you maintain being authentically Zimbabwean? Like, being able to rap in Shona, but still appeal to a different audience like South Africa, where they might not understand what you're saying.
For me, I don't necessarily try to take the Shona music over to South Africa. You know what I mean? Because it's the same way how you can like we like I'm a piano because of the vibes, not because we understand what they're saying, you know what I mean? Like, so for me to be able to take genre music that side, it needs to be a case of they just like the vibe. It's not that they actually listen to the lyrics. And yeah, I do try to do that with the genre music, but then at the same time, I do make English music, which is a lot easier which is music that's a lot easier for me to make as well, because from the jump, I was making a lot of English music. So it makes the crossover easy. It makes it easier for me to push my music there because it's hip hop and they have hip hop there, and it's in English and they understand English, so it's a lot easier for them to be like, okay, cool, let's hear what this guy's saying, and then oh, this dude's from Zim, okay, cool, so I guess this is how Zimbabwean artists like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool. I'm just trying to balance it out, you know what I mean? I want to balance out having the market of Zim and having like the market outside of Zim, so I need to make sure I kind of feed both sides, you know? Yeah.
What's the reception been like in South Africa?
It's good. It's good. Like the people I've met who have actually like come across my work, they actually enjoy it. So that's dope. That's dope. I met up with a bunch of artists. I met up with some producers and stuff like that. I connected with some people when I was that side who want to work. So I feel like people wanting to work is like it's like a stamp of approval that like, yeah, we like what you're doing, you know. So yeah, that's dope. The reception's been pretty cool, you know. So yeah.
Do you feel like you've established yourself enough here at home to have a loyal fan base when you cross over?
Not yet. Until I can't cross the street without getting mobbed.
Okay.
I haven't. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So that's the plan.
Okay.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Okay. I find it very interesting when artists create, because you create a song and you really like it. It may not do as well outside. And then the song where you're just like, whatever, is the one that people go crazy for. How do you identify when you have a hit? And then it's a two-part question. When you're in the studio and you're working on it and you're like, no, I need to tweak this, I need to add this, I need to do this. How do you know when a song is finished?
Okay, so for the first one, how do you know when a song is a hit?
Yeah.
I think there's like a part of you that can tell that like this is special, you know what I mean? Like you've been doing something for so long, it's like you're drawing or you're making clothes or whatever it is. You've been doing something for so long, but there's the one thing that you did that just kind of like, that makes you think, oh, this is actually like, this is good, you know what I mean? Like you feel it yourself. You don't need someone else to tell you. By the time you show other people, they just kind of basically repeat your sentiments that you had for your own work that like, no, this is good, you know what I mean? So you can feel it. It's like a gut feeling. It's like intuition kind of thing, you know? And yeah, how do you know when a song is finished? For me, man, a song is only finished when it's out.
Okay.
To
So
be
you'll
honest,
keep
I'll
tweaking
keep
and
working
tweaking?
I've been working on songs for like 6 years that are never gonna come out. Probably never gonna come out because I
Never
just keep
gonna
working.
come out as crazy.
Yeah, because it's like I made it in 2020. You know what I mean? I've been working on it for so long, and it's like it doesn't even sound like it can come out now anymore. You know what I mean? So like I'll just keep working on it. Like I've got so many songs that I worked on for so long that like I changed the production like 5 times. You know, like rewrote the song like 4 times, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, for me, a song is only done, so I can only say it's finished when it's out because I can't touch it anymore. So, yeah.
What is, in your opinion, your biggest hit? I feel like we as the people, we know what it is, right? But like, what's your biggest hit, and why do you think it was?
My biggest hit is definitely, I think the one that you're thinking of, 20s.
Yeah, 20s.
I think 20s really, I could say it's my biggest hit is because like, I can get booked just to perform that song.
Just
and, like,
perform. That's
okay
crazy,
with that.
and it's been out for years.
Yeah, it's been out for a long time. You know, I still get booked just so that people hear me like perform that song because it sucked because like when it did come out, we were still kind of in that COVID era. So like for the whole year when the song was like really, really ringing, and for the first year when I released the song, I never got to perform it. I first performed that song 2 years after it came out.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of like, it was funny, man. It was a strange time, but yeah, I think that's definitely my biggest song, and I think maybe "Cry on My Shoulder" is a close second.
Yeah.
I think.
Don't you think that 20s coming out during COVID actually made the song a hit?
I think so. I think it might because everyone was at home, so like,
right.
You know what I mean? So
everyone was listening to the radio. Yeah, that's how I first heard.
It was on social media, watching TV, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100%. I think yeah, that definitely helped to push. I would have loved to perform it though, like I ain't gonna lie.
To perform
but
it,
like,
though.
yeah, I do. But like, it would have been dope to perform it like right.
Pits and
yeah,
things.
Yeah. It would have been dope to perform it like right in its hype. You know what I mean? Like right after it came out. But then you know, it's still doing rounds, so I'm not too mad at it. Yeah.
Okay. What's something independent artists misunderstand about building careers?
It's tiring, it's boring, and
Heavy on
it takes
boring.
a lot. It takes a lot of work, man. It's gonna suck a lot before it gets better. You know what I mean? It's gonna be terrible before it gets better. I feel like when you're building anything, man, you don't just build a house in a week. You know what I mean? You don't just make a couch or furniture in a day. It takes time. You know what I mean? And it's a process. You're not just building your music. You're not just building yourself, but you're also building a fan base. You're building a community. So there's so many things that are happening at the same time that it's gonna feel like nothing's happening, but things are building slowly, like bit by bit, and then like one day you then have that one thing that like really connects to people. So that you have that one thing that really connects to like the masses, and then when the masses come back to your other stuff, all that stuff that you've been working on when you were building, they'll be like, oh, okay, cool, this person's actually dope. So then they start going back.
That's
and then
such
now
a
you have
great
like
point.
you know what I mean? Now
That
you
is
have like
such a great point for
thank you.
creators.
So now you have like a big portfolio that is new to a lot of people. So it's like it's gonna be it's a long journey, man. It sucks, it's boring, it's tiring, you lose hope, you lose motivation, but if you see it through, it'll work out 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I was saying to you before we started the interview that people love you. Like I said with my interview the night, that you have a cult following. A lot of people validate you, and that's probably one of the most viral clips on Instagram and TikTok. TikTok especially. People
It's
really love
crazy.
you.
So many people sending that
Right?
video. Yeah.
How do you separate validation from vision, like being focused on what you're called to do without being distracted by the noise of affirmation?
I feel you. I feel like it's all dependent on like you as a person. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not something that you can learn it, of course, but I think it's more of a what are your priorities as you started before like the music even took off, before things even popped, before you started getting the validation and stuff like that. What was your priority from the start? Like, what's your reason for doing this? Do you want to do whatever you're doing because you want the fame, you want people to come and tell you you're dope, you want the money, or whatever it is, or do you do it because you love it and you want to create something new? For me personally, I do it because I love it. Like, even if I'm not getting booked or I'm not getting paid, or I'm still gonna make music. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna sleep at 4 a.m. working on a song that's that I might not even put out just because I want to advance myself. I want to grow my craft. I want to leave something that'll live 100 years, on like 200 years after I'm gone. Something that'll be looked at by the industry, or that'll be looked at by the people in the future in Zimbabwe and be like, okay, this person really did something for this country. You know what I mean? They left something more than just music. They changed the culture. They changed the narrative. Because I do music to like, I'm not just doing it for myself, but I want to reach a level where I can work with some of the biggest artists in the world, not because I just want to do that, but because I want all the kids in Zim, no matter what they want to do, whether it's music or it's photography or it's film or it's fashion, I want them to know that, like, even if you're from Zim, like, you can get to that level, you know what I mean? I'm doing it for all those kids who then want to have that conversation with their parents that I want to make music. And then when their parents ask, who do you know who made money off music? They're like, oh, who do you know who made it off music? Oh, Suhn did. Oh, who's Suhn? Then they show me, oh, okay, cool. You could do music, we'll support you, you know what I mean? That's why I do it. So yeah, that's why I gotta keep pushing.
That. If God took away everything, the platform and all the accolades, what do you think would still remain with you?
The love for music.
The love for music.
The love for music would definitely remain 100%. I don't think I would ever lose that.
Okay, so we're going into our flash drive now. You said you want to ask me questions.
Yes. What do you think of the?
Oh my God.
Yes. I got a couple questions.
Okay.
What do you think of the music industry in Zimbabwe?
I think we have a lot of growing to do, but I think we've grown a lot.
Yeah. 100%,
if that makes sense. 100%. We've grown a lot. We have great creative expression. There's people that are doing amazing. The videos are insane.
Exactly. 100%.
But we have a lot of growing to do if we want to be able to contend on an international stage. That's what I think,
What do you think it would take for artists in Zim? Actually, yes. In Zim, what do you think is the reason why, what do you think is the cause of people not wanting to listen to English music from Zimbabwean artists in Zim?
I've had this conversation before, I think. People like struggle culture. People like suffering. And suffering is good, but it's not good to live from a point of suffering and consistently create from a point of suffering. And when you don't seem to portray that, people get angry. People that are still in their journey get angry with why are you not suffering like me? Why are you not singing about that? Like, why are you singing about having a good time? I'm not having a good time, you know? And so I think that it's hard to receive that. That's one part. And then the English part is, I don't know, guys, that whole north of somewhere south. I didn't grow up in Harare, so I don't even know that this was a thing until I got here. And then there's that whole, like, quote unquote turf war. And if you represent one side, you're supposed to sound a certain way. So the moment you sound like the opposing side, you're an op, and we don't want to have anything to do with you. Yeah,
I get that. Which is a shame, to be honest, because like it shouldn't be like that. I feel like things can coexist. Two great things can be two great things can coexist. You know what I mean? At the same time. So like, I really wish that was different. You know, but hopefully, you know, with the growing that we're doing and at the rate we're doing, at some point it'll really open up to it.
I believe so. We have to get there. There's a demand from the rest of
the world. There really is. I mean, like, it just takes us like not separating each other. You know what I mean? Like, we should just be a country as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in SA they have the whole country just listens to Amapiano because that's their thing as a whole.
And that's why it's a global phenomenon of
the
a
whole
sound.
Country pushes it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think if we stop the whole division and we just kind of came together and like, okay, cool. It doesn't matter where you're from. It never matters where you're from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, as soon as you leave home, you're not at home anymore. You guys are in a neutral setting. So
exactly.
Hopefully that'll change at some point. But yeah, that's what I was very keen to ask.
Thank you for asking. You're the first person to actually ask me a question, so that's really cool. Okay, flash 5.
Yeah.
Studio or stage?
Stage.
Favorite producer?
Skrillex.
The song that you're most proud of? Artist you'd love to collaborate with?
Kanye West. Yeah.
One word that describes your sound?
Crazy. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Great. Pat.
It's a wrap.
Oh. What an excellent interview. I hope that you managed to get wisdom and knowledge and understanding from the amazing creative that is Suhn. So for today's Manna Moments, we are going to be talking about the spirit of excellence. I started reading the book of Daniel recently, and it says that Daniel had an excellent spirit. And even though he was in Babylon, he did not compromise his principles, his morals, and his authenticity to his faith based off of what Babylon demanded. And I think that's so important for creatives to remember, that you don't have to compromise your morals, your principles, your authenticity as a creative because of Babylon. And in this case, Babylon would be the creative industry. So whatever industry you're in, you're not forced to conform to match what other people are saying and doing. Maintain your authenticity, stand true in your values, and the excellence of your craft and that spirit will show through your work. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Leave a 5-star rating on podcast streaming sites. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and podcast streaming sites. If you want further engagement, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at She Is Sustenance. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and I will see you next time. Bye, sis.